Hello everybody! Welcome back to my channel again. Welcome back to What If Deku Was a Mandalorian? Part 13. And when we last left off, Deku surrendered to a Grand Admiral Thrawn and Lord Vader, due to them having somebody very important to him on the Chimera. Now, Deku is not bloody stupid. He knows that Admiral Thrawn does not keep his word. Because he knows a little secret about Thrawn's people. He knows Thrawn's from the unknown regions, due to that's actually where Earth is. Earth is in the unknown regions. So how the hell the Empire managed to find Earth? Well, only one person who knows the unknown regions better than anyone is Grand Admiral Thrawn. So, Deku goes to the hangar bay. His soldiers try to stop him, saying, "Mandalore, you cannot be serious." As Deku just simply swipes his hand, saying, "Enough. I'm going to get one of our people back. Do not worry about me. I'll be fine. I'll find my own way off. But until I return, Idril will be my replacement. Until I come back." As he gets on the shuttle and, heads right for the Chimera, as he activates a little tracking beacon within his armour, as Mandalorians could pick up on it. As Grand Admiral Thrawn speaks to Idril in the interrogation room, saying, "Now, why would you not want your Mandalorian culture to join the Empire? It provides security to everything it touches." As Idril just spits back at him, saying, "The Empire invaded Mandalore for its resources, for its Beskar deposits. You destroyed our culture and our people just so you can get your hands on the Beskar. You are nothing but thieving crooks." The Mandalorians lived peacefully away from all civilizations to tend to their own culture. As well, Lord Vader turns up saying, "And yet you side with rebels to fight the Empire. If that doesn't mean that your neutrality doesn't extend to rebels, then perhaps the Empire wouldn't have bothered with your people." As he gets a transmission saying, "Lord Vader, Grand Admiral Thrawn, the shell is requesting permission to dock. It's Mandalore, sir." "Good. Let him land. Commando, go with your team and escort him to me at lightsaber point." As a commando walks into the cell, wearing clone trooper armor. As this commando just says, "Yes, sir. My boys and I will bring him to you. No questions asked, sir. But what happens if the boy resists? Permission to kill him? No. I want him alive. So bring him to me in one piece. Understood?" "Yes, Lord Vader." "You are the men. Up to the hangar. Go, go, go!" As they all run up to the hangar. As they wait, one of the commandos says, "We should just kill him, sir. That ain't Lord Vader's orders." "Do as you're told, trooper. We do not disobey orders. That's what we do. Not do." "Weapons at the ready. Here he comes." As well, the shuttle turns up and lands. As well, the doors open, as a ton of smoke appears, as Deku walks out of his shuttle with his hands by his side, jetpack still on him, with his little banner, well, little arm cloak thing. As well, he says, "Alright, I'm here. Now where's Grand Admiral Thrawn and Lord Vader?" As the 501st Commando says, "They're in the interrogation room. Lord Vader asked us to bring you to him in one piece, but he didn't say anything about bruises. If you don't come along quietly, Mando." It's because obviously he knows what the clones were actually cloned from. He just mocks them, saying, "You're not even real Mandalorians. You're clones of a Mandalorian who lost his honor. You're the hidden ones. You're the disgraceful ones." How pathetic. As the clone commander just said, "Shut your mouth. We've seen war. We've been through it for 3 to 5 years of war with droids. And we lost thousands of our brothers to them things. So we are more warrior than you." As Deku fires back with, "True warriors do not bomb civilians. They have codes, they have honors, they have dignity. To face their opponents smack in the eye. You may have focused on smacking the droids in the face with your blasters, but at least we Mandalorians put everything on the line, and we do not retreat unless it's for a greater purpose." As the commando, one commando chops him from the back, knocking him out, saying he calls himself Mandalore, and he could get knocked out quite easily. Let's go. As they just pick him up and drag him. As, they take him through hallways after hallways into the cells, and throw him in the same cell as Idril and Lord Vader. As well, and Grand Admiral Thrawn, sorry, forgot to say that. As Vader just smirks, saying, finally, our long-awaited rematch can now commence. Grand Admiral Thrawn, is there a planet that we can duel at? Unfortunately, Lord Vader, no. I could always put you on Umbara, or we can go to Terrace again, or even Fondor. Take us to Terrace. We will duel there, as you wish, Lord Vader. As Grand Admiral Thrawn just contacts the bridge, saying, "Take us to Terrace. Lord Vader wishes to duel the Mandalore." "Yes, Grand Admiral," as the officer replies. As you could hear, "All ships, take heed. Turn all vessels around. Head straight for Terrace." As they do. Once they arrive, Lord Vader and Deku land on the planet's surface. Lord Vader grabs a spare lightsaber that he has in a collection. Doesn't that remind you of someone? As he tosses it to Izuku, saying, "We fight to the death." As Deku just says, "If I disarm you, I'll let you leave." As well, they fight, and Deku swiftly loses. Before Lord Vader could cut his head off, a lightsaber smacks his own away from Deku as somebody force grabs him away. As the lightsaber goes back to its owner. As Lord Vader looks to see where it was, he sees a purple hue of a lightsaber. As an old grizzly man stands there, Zuko in grasp. As he just says, "So, the Sith have found me. Great. The Empire came to Terrace for something, and I came here hoping to find out what. Then you Mandalorians turn up, do your famous death game. Jedi are the keepers of the keepers of the peace, and not soldiers. A mistake I am not willing to let slip by. I will face the Sith. You can leave, Mandalorian." As well, Deku just says, "No." As he picks up the lightsaber that was on the ground, because he grabbed hold of it before Lord Vader tried to kill him, and before this person pulled him away, as he said, "Lord Vader is mine," as he activates his lightsaber again. As he says, "You can't just listen to a Jedi, can you?" As Deku just looks over at him, saying, as he just remarks, saying, "Jedi? You're the third one I've seen in over a year." Because I'm going to say it took years. It took over a year to sort things out with the Death Watch and all that. Well, before the Death Watch turned up, sorry. I should really have meant that. As this old man activates his lightsaber with a purple hue again. As Darth Vader gets up and just simply stares for a bit. After a few minutes of staring, he just simply says, Master Windu, Counselor of the failed Jedi Order. How did you survive getting thrown out of the Senate Tower by the Emperor? As he just simply says, I was defeated by a person I thought I could trust. As he, does a style that Vader knows all too well. I thought I could trust a Jedi in our order to stay put and let me finish the Sith Lord off completely. But I was wrong. I shouldn't have trusted him. As Lord Vader just says, ah, yes, the Jedi that betrayed you, Anakin Skywalker. Pity he could not be here to see your destruction after he cut your hand off. And if you couldn't hear that, I said cut your hand off. Because obviously, lightsabers, they cut through mostly anything, apart from Beskar for some odd reason. As Windu stands there, in his same pose, as he just says, the Sith may rule the Empire, but they will never rule the galaxy as long as one Jedi still holds breath. As Vader just says, and that's why you died. Because you held your breath, thinking that your clones were all on your side. As well, he jumps at Mace Windu as Mace Windu and Dooku jump back at Vader, as all three of them clash in the middle. And this fight goes on for quite some time. Vader is strong enough to hold off Dooku, but not strong enough to hold off Mace Windu. Because we all know Mace Windu is an absolute beast of a man. But skipping over to Idril quickly, as she is in the interrogation room still. As she, wiggles herself free of her bonds to the interrogation chair. As she, hits the ground. As she, stands up, saying, okay, I'm up, get my armor, get off the ship, and find our cruisers. But before she could get out, she hears the alarms going off and stormtroopers rushing all over the place. As she, runs, she feels an explosion. As she finds a panel, taps into one of the security cameras that somehow are on the bridge. As Grand Admiral Thrawn says, target the Mandalorian ships, target the hyperdrives, and gun emplacements. As an officer just says, but sir, our fighters. We're launching all fighters and we can't even scratch those ships. As Idril just says, yes. Well, time for me to get out of here. And she runs for a few hours, going up and down elevators until she gets to the armory. As she finally finds her armor, saying, there you are, my beautiful armor. I hope no Imperial dogs have scratched you. as she, starts putting her armour on. But then she had another problem getting her guns. They're locked behind a code-linked force field, so she had to bypass that, which took her a few minutes. Somehow. As she eventually gets to the hangar bay, nabs a shuttle, and heads directly for one of the cruisers. The Mandalorian's, or the Mandalore's Revenge, which is the biggest one you can see. As she sends landing codes to the Mandalorian's Revenge, as they send out basilisk war droids to clear her a path and to escort her to the hangars. As she lands and says, "How the hell did you manage to find me?" As an officer of the Mandalorians just simply says, "To be honest with you, for you, we didn't even know you were on one of those ships. We're following the signal from Mandalore." And Idril just says, "Wait, Mandalore sent a signal?" As they say, "Oh yes," as they show the Darksaber and flip it up to where the laser, the energy sword comes out the top to show a small compartment at the bottom, as it shows a tracker. Apparently, Mandalore put a tracker on the hilt, here on the blade, and also a tracker on himself. So we just simply homed in on that signal. And you see how fast the red light's blinking? That means Mandalore's close by. The only system we knew of to come was the Terrace. Apparently, this is the only planet the Imperials could think of going. As well, Idril just says to herself, "Izuku, Midoriya, Mandalore, or screw it, Deku. You are one clever man. You weren't just surrendering to save my life. You were surrendering to trick the Imperials. Well done. Tell all of our cruisers to fire on the Imperial fleet. Destroy those cruisers. Then get a landing party ready. We are going down to Terrace, and we will rescue our Mandalore." As they all salute, saying, "Yes, ma'am," as they all run to battle stations. As more and more basilisk war droids are launched from all hangars, along with a few Mandalorian designed fighter craft that are unique, to say the least. As well as all TIE fighters and TIE interceptors, along with TIE bombers, and TIE defenders from Admiral Thrawn, that were somewhat of an early prototype without the shielding and without the hyperdrive. As all of them fly around, dogfighting, and this explosions soon follow. The Imperial Star Destroyers all start taking direct hits as well. Grand Admiral Thrawn tries to pull a sneaky little tactic, aka calling in reinforcements behind the cruisers. But considering the 4 howitzers were facing sideways, When those ships dropped out of hyperspace. Sorry, guys. Ow, that hurt. As I was saying, as those ships dropped out of hyperspace, ouch. Yeah, the word ouch is a bit of an exaggeration. Those things didn't even get a chance to put their shielding back up. They thought they would be a decent distance away from the enemy ships, but they're right on top of them. So the shielding never really had a chance to be put back up. As one of the 3 cruisers that turned up, well, let's say this. No, it might as well have just been disintegrated. Because every last turbo battery on those howitzer Star Destroyers that were facing them lit that one up like a Christmas tree. And that went off with a big boom. The other 2, they suffered the same fate, but less of a huge explosion. They got their shields up slightly, but the rate of fire from those 4 ships was somehow still enough to overpower their turbo batteries that were firing on them as well. So yeah, the Imperial ships got their monkeys torn out. Not torn out. They got their monkeys beaten out of them by 4 howitzer Star Destroyers that have been upgraded severely. Oh my. But now I hear you asking, wait, why the hell didn't Admiral Thrawn just call in more ships right then and there on the spot? Just call them in behind his fleet. Overwhelming firepower. You do realise there's a small rebellion going on as well. That's slowly picking up traction due to the Mandalorians, right? Well, the rebellion doesn't forget its friends. Because after a few hours of a non-stop battle, Grand Admiral Thrawn gets a message saying, from his officer saying, Admiral, we got enemy ships coming in behind us. Count off the ships. 3 Nebulon Bs, 16 blockade runners, Corellian corvettes, 2 MC-130s, Home 1 by Admiral Akbar, 12 wings of X-Wings, 5 wings of B-Wings, 10 Y-Wings squadrons, and 15 squadrons of A-Wings. Oh, and 10 to 20 transport ships. And 1 captured Imperial light cruiser. One captured Imperial light cruiser as well. Sorry. So yeah, that's quite a big fleet that just reinforced the Mandalorians. And Grand Admiral Thrawn went down to, instead of 23 ships, to 15. Because the rate of fire from both sides was still quite heavy, so he was still losing ships. Left, right, and centre. He hoped he could still hold on for 5 to 10 hours. He held on for 3 before immediately telling Lord Vader to get his shiny little metallic ass back up into orbit so they can all leave. The rebellion has just turned up. And Lord Vader replies with saying, fine. But he, finishes off one individual. Goodbye, Samuel A. Jackson, aka Mace Windu. As he, relieves his head up from his neck, or from his shoulders, as he just falls to the ground. With Izuku actually having a stab wound. Vader stabbed him like he did the Star Killer, aka Galen Merrick, through the back. Well, instead of through the back, it's through the front. Again, you ask, how did Lord Vader defeat him? By stabbing him? Simple. Lord Vader has a metal hand. He just simply pulled him towards him, lifted up the armor, then stabbed him. As he got called to go up into space, he killed Mace Windu then and there. As he leaves the fighter craft from the Mandalorians and the Rebellion, try to fight Lord Vader. As we all can tell, that didn't go very well. As well, Idril heads to the surface, along with a detachment of Mandalorian soldiers, to find Izuku Midoriya on the ground bleeding. Well, not bleeding, just on the ground passed out. And a Jedi, with lightsaber still active, with his head missing. As Idril just runs over to him, taking off her helmet, saying, Mandalore, come on Mandalore, stay with me. You're not leaving me here. Not on my own. As well, she sort of says that in front of everybody, but they don't take much notice. Anyway, bye guys.